Controlling your ball in the wind is a big challenge for a lot of players, especially when the elements are against you. If you're struggling to hit that low shot, well, stay tuned. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Let's get stuck in. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Kerrod here at the Joondalup Resort. Before we get stuck in, please go down below, click subscribe, click that little bell so you get notified of all the great content just like this coming your way. Also, just a reminder, I am available for online coaching, 24/7 access to my remote services, helping you with your golf game, improving your skills, working on your swing, giving you personalized drills and exercises to help you improve the quality of motion and help you shoot some lower scores. Alrighty, in today's lesson, we're going to be talking all about how to control the ball in the wind. For a lot of players, they really struggle to get that ball launching low off the face and staying low, especially on a very windy, rainy day like we've got here today. Now, at the end of the day, height is a product of speed and loft, meaning how fast this golf club is moving through the impact zone and how much loft we deliver will dictate the initial launch and overall trajectory and height of that golf shot. So understanding that, what we can do is we can actually start to make some adjustments to our setup and the way that we play the shot to get the job done. And I see a lot of people actually do this the incorrect way when it comes to working on their golf swing. So I'm going to show you the correct way to do it as such. Now, one of the big things that we generally see with players is they actually don't utilize their equipment to the greatest advantage. So for example, today I've got a 6-iron and I'm just going to hit a low little one out there. I need to keep it underneath the wind. But the easiest way to actually change the trajectory, the height, and the rollout of your golf ball is simply change club. Remembering that height is a product of speed and loft. So if I have less speed with less loft, the ball will launch and stay lower for a longer period of time. So for example's sake, if I'm setting up to this shot here, and let's say I only need to hit this ball 100 meters, instead of me grabbing out my pitching wedge, trying to launch it way up into the sky, or even alternatively, trying to put it back in my stance and really hit down on it, this just adds in too much variance there with how much down I'm hitting on the golf ball. It's going to cause too much spin, and the ball's definitely going to get affected by elements. Now, even if I make these adjustments in my setup to hit a pitching wedge as low as I possibly can, it's still not going to go low enough or with as much control as it could if I simply just picked a club with less loft. So for example, I'm going to show you using my 6-iron here, and I'm just going to set up and I'm going to hit this shot about 50% speed, narrow stance, a little bit of weight forward. And we can see that that ball just launched very low, landed about 100 meters, and it really didn't take much effort to do so. So before we actually talk about the specifics of exactly how to set up if you want to hit a low, longer shot, especially around that under 150 meter mark, I recommend you simply just grab a club with a little less loft, you swing it a little bit slower, and as an effect of the speed in the loft, the ball will actually just launch lower. It's a really easy way to do it, especially if you're playing at those links courses. Well, here's another way to do it, and we're going to talk about the specifics of really what you came here for, which is how to set up if you do indeed want to hit a lower launching shot. So just setting up in front of the camera in this position here, if I set up to this golf ball, all things being equal, the further forward I place the ball, the more loft I will add because the club is meeting the ball later in the arc, and therefore you would be increasing the amount of loft that is hit at the moment of impact. We call that dynamic loft. If I move the ball back in my stance, that would decrease the loft. However, one big issue with doing this, and this is something that I see a lot of players make the mistake of doing, they place the ball so far back, it increases what we call your angle of attack. So angle of attack is how steep this golf club is coming into the ball. When you place that ball too far back, it increases it to such a point where you effectively just chop straight down in the ground. It actually adds spin to the ball. It won't feel very good. You'll probably mishit it, and it'll have too much spin. Therefore, it's more likely to curve as well. So something that we need to be mindful of is when we hit a low shot, it's not just about placing the ball further back. we need to be quite precise with where we put the ball position, and it's more about where we position our body and our handle and the feeling of the shot through the ball, which is going to lower that ball flight. So starting off, if I was to show you exactly how I would do it, if my stock ball position for a 6-iron would be about 1 club head inside the lead foot, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna narrow up my stance a little bit, because that's just gonna make things a little bit easier to shift my weight onto the lead side, which is important to get that ball launching a little bit lower. I'm also just gonna move it just a whisker back so it's about the middle of my stance. I'd be quite happy with that position. That's gonna encourage me to get that ball first contact, give it a little bit of assistance of the downward strike coming into the ball, and help that ball launch a little bit lower as a result. So we're gonna narrow our stance up a little bit, and we're gonna place the ball what feels like about the middle of your stance. Now the next thing to do from here is you're gonna get your shirt buttons, and you're gonna feel like you shift your shirt buttons towards the target at the same time as you push the handle forward. So all things being equal, with a narrow stance, weight forward, ball position a little bit back, upper body and hands forward. As I come back to the moment of impact, the handle will tend to lean forward, you will de-loft that club, and it will launch out low. Now my recommendation is blend what I said earlier about taking a club with less loft and swinging it slower, and also make these little adjustments. All right, let's put it all together and let's see how low this one can launch out. Now, I generally hit the ball quite high. I've got a 6-iron in my hand here. This is a forged blade, so it does have true lofts, but I'm just gonna try and launch this nice and low. I'm gonna set up, take my narrow stance, place the ball a little bit further back. I'm feeling quite good about this one. Hands forward, have a little practice swing. Let's launch it nice and low. Now you can see that really shot off the face, very strong ball flight. I didn't try and hit it too hard, and you can see that the divot there is slightly bigger than what I would take normal, but it felt fantastic off the face. So if you are a player who's struggling to control the launch of your golf ball, use these tips. It can make a massive difference to helping you maneuver that when you need to, and avoid the trouble that you might find that you get yourself into when you take a club with more loft and try and hit it harder. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you've got any questions at all, please let me know. But until next time, I'm Kerrod. Thanks for watching.